Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of The Spiritual Handyman. I am Jason Antelek, your host, and we are putting spiritual tools into the hands of people that need them. We are going to be speaking with Bernadette King today. She is an evidential medium. She is also an author and has created an amazing tarot/oracle deck. I can't wait to hear all about it. And she's going to help us with how spirit animals can help us in our daily lives. We're taking opportunity to remind you guys out there, we are available on YouTube, Instagram, and also at thespiritualhandyman.com. You can listen to us on Spotify now as well. So you can check us out on the go and listen in whatever fashion or watch if you like. Please take an opportunity to like, share, subscribe, click the little bell so you know on YouTube when the new episodes post, and be active in the community. It is all about building spiritual awareness, and with your help, that can happen. So let's get to this interview. I am so excited to have met Bernadette King and get to know her a little bit. She has an amazing new deck coming out that she's going to share with us. Bernadette, say hello to everybody and tell them a little bit about how you got where you are now.
Hi, everybody, and thank you so much for having me on your show. It is just an honor and a pleasure. And I'm going to be brief because, as we established before the show, you and I could talk all day long. So just briefly how I got started as a metaphysician way back when, a few decades ago. My mom was killed, and we weren't a really particular spiritual family, so I set out on a quest. I just wanted to find her. It didn't make sense to my stubborn Scorpio mind that she was just gone. So I went to a lot of churches. I went to a lot of psychics, mediums, tarot flippers, some credible, some not so credible. But what was really interesting is that all of the metaphysicians kept looking at me and saying, "But you're a professional psychic, right?" "No, I'm not," and had never thought of being. So one day I just thought, well, if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. And I took a psychic mediumship development class, and it changed my life. I'd never meditated, I'd never channeled, I'd never even heard of channeling. And from the very first class, it just all clicked for me. The teacher pulled me aside after class and said, "You're going to need to know some things." And that was it. It kind of all started from there. And then, so for a lot of years, I focused on evidential psychic mediumship work, in particular mediumship. And then a few years ago, I was in my hallway in my house, and all of a sudden I had a vision. My hallway just disappeared, and all of these animals showed up. Now, I've always been into animal rescue and animal conservation. It's kind of my thing. But I was like, okay, what's happening? And that's when they told me, "We want you to create a deck like there's never been a deck before with animals." The imagery is what I'm talking about, so that we can now start doing more work through metaphysicians, through the spiritual community, through the healing community, get more out there in the world, and in return, hopefully, the world will pay more attention to us, save more of us, make life easier for us. And I was like, okay, how am I going to do that? And they showed me a tarot deck. And so here we are, and I just want to say thank you again, because just today, I ran a Kickstarter campaign. Well, me and the Animal Spirit Guides ran a Kickstarter campaign. It was successfully funded. Thank you to you all. We raised $46,000 to get the tarot, to get the Ark printed. And it's going to land here shortly. It's on a little slow boat from China. But today I got my sample decks, and I just got them to interview, right? So the Ark is a big deck because there are 100 cards in it. There's 78 tarot cards and 22 bonus cards, and it's almost 4 pounds. And then you open this, and you have your nice, this belongs to, and then of course your book, right? So the book, we're as proud of as we are of the cards. It's a 372-page book. It's all full color. It has the tarot card meanings, and it has the spirit animal meanings. And it's full of all other kinds of information that when you're working with spirit, totem, and power animals, you're going to want to know, you know, what's the difference between an oracle reading and a tarot card reading, and what do the cardinal directions mean, and what does the numerology mean, and this and that. So it's a really awesome, complete guide to everything, well, not everything, but a lot of things you'd want to know. But what's also really cool is, instead of just being the 100 animals that are in the deck, we actually ended up developing, because the animals came to me during a meditation and said, okay, you're doing 100 cards and that's fine, but there are millions of species in the world, and you should put as many in here as possible. So we chose 48 more animals, and the extra 48 animals that are in actually a bonus deck that you can buy, they're included in this as well. So also in here, let me just show you, because again, you guys, this is a big deck. I mean, if you want to work with animal guides, animal spirit guides, the animal allies, this is the deck. So, but there are 2 wells, and each can hold up to 80 cards. And so we made it big enough for people to have those and have the bonus cards. But I think ultimately the reason the animals wanted us to do this deck is that you'll be able to see on the cards when you get them or when you're working with them. We've used images of real animals. So these are real pictures of real animals. Now, when you get to the dragon card and the T-Rex card and that kind of thing, obviously they're not. But the power of these animals, and if you look really closely, like look at the look on that guy's face. I mean, who can't fall right into that? And you just want to reach out and pet them and look at our little mousy guy. And they all have their own personality. They'll all talk to you. There are all kinds of unusual animals in here. They wanted us to represent bugs and eggs of animals, and you know, animals that are really going through it, like the pangolin, which is the most trafficked animal in the world, which of course is very befitting for the 5 of Pentacles. So just from an energetic standpoint, because let me tell you, there's some gorgeous, gorgeous animal tarot and animal oracle decks out there. Their artist renderings just take your breath away. But for me, for the Ark, for the communication I did with my animals, they just wanted us to use real pictures. So that's kind of the brief overview. What else can I tell your loyal following?
Well, first of all, I want to say huge congratulations, because that is no small feat what you have now in your hot little hands. And the book and the whole package really is a complete assessment and delivery of what it is that you've learned and what you've come across. And it means that people can use it for multiple purposes. And I can tell you that in the past, using animal cards, I was so grateful for a couple of different decks out there that had blank ones, because there was no octopus, there was no orca, there were so many that I know I identified with, but you really are reaching and getting as many of them into our hot little hands as possible. And clearly, I'm gonna need a bigger card bag, because they're not all gonna fit in the ones that I have now. But that's okay. That's okay. I've always wanted a bigger bag for more stuff. So yeah.
Not to cut you off, but you're gonna need a suitcase, because I have plans to put out an oracle deck every year that's an add-on to this deck. So there'll be 48 new cards every year starting next year.
So bigger than a shoebox.
A little bigger than a shoebox.
I love it. I love it. So here's some questions that I have, and I think that will help us get some more information. So what is the benefit of working with animals?
Oh my gosh. Well, this is only a 25-minute show, so I'll try to wrap it up in that. But let me first start by saying, in the system that the animals downloaded through me, there just was so much confusion. Some people use the term spirit animals, some people use the word totem, some people use power. And I'm the publisher and creator of whatismyspiritanimal.com. And it's the largest spirit, totem, and power animal related website on the internet. We have hundreds and hundreds of free articles about what this animal means as a totem animal. What does it mean if you find feathers? What does it mean if you see their tracks? So on and so forth. And I kept getting the question all the time, what's the difference? So I asked the spirit animal world to show me, and they said, well, it just depends on what culture you're speaking to, but it kind of all means the same thing, but how you use the energy in medicine is different. So I said, okay, I need to start teaching this. Show me the way. And what they said is, okay, look, a spirit animal is the animal that comes to you in your hour of need. Whether you consciously cry out for the animal, whether you subconsciously are crying out for the animal, maybe you keep seeing a flamingo and you're just not really sure. You're seeing flamingo pictures and people are talking about them and all the, you walk in and there's a big display of flamingo stuffed animals. You're like, what is it with the flamingos already? Well, that's the spirit world's way. The animal allies are coming to you and saying, we're supporting you, we're loving you, we're inspiring you based on the symbolism of a flamingo. A totem is who you are inside, which should start with your zodiac sign in all the zodiac systems. If you're a Scorpio, if you're a Taurus, if you're a Gemini, okay, because humans can be spirit animals. We are animals. We can be spirit animals. And really the only one is Libra, which is the sign of scales, but that could be any number of animals that constitute balance or justice, right? And then so like, also my main totem animal, even though I'm like a triple Scorpio, is a bear, because I've always identified with them. And for people who know me, I mean, all you got to do is look at me. You know, I'm built like a bear. But for people who know me, I have the exact temperament of a bear. And in fact, my name Bernadette is the female counterpart to Bernard, which is a French name, which specifically, translated means brave, strong bear. Crazy, right? So then your power animal is the animal that you invoke from inside. So you hear it a lot in sports, you hear it a lot in the military, be brave and strong like a lion, be fast like a puma, that kind of thing. Those are not, and even investing, there's an investor that coined the term animal spirit when it comes to investing. And there are a lot of people that invest major millions and millions of dollars based a lot on what this guy taught about how to tap into your animal spirit inside. So we're all connected, and even the most timid person can rise to the occasion and have the strength of an elephant. And even the most ferocious person that people are afraid of, they see that sweet little 5-year-old trying to give them a cupcake and they turn into mush. So that said, how does it benefit you? Oh my gosh. Well, listen, it can be really hard. Let's just take it from a healing perspective. It can be really tough. Let's say you're working on meeting your shadow self. It'd be really tough to face those things about yourself. But if you go into a meditation, or you just ask the universe to start sending you signs and symbols, it can be much easier to keep seeing maybe a wounded dog, and find that sympathy and that empathy for that dog, than it is to take a look at yourself and go, man, I've got loyalty issues, I've got trust issues, I've got these issues. That can be a lot more gentle entree into that. Let's say you're working with the chakras. Let's say that you start flipping cards out of the Ark, and let's say that you draw, you hover over somebody's sacral chakra and you draw the ladybug. Well, even if you look at the coloring in that, maybe they could use a little more red, a little more passion, a little more fire. Maybe when you look at the gold color, maybe when you take a look at the fact that ladybugs represent good luck, well, maybe they're having a hard time believing that they're deserving of good luck, or they're having a hard time making their own good luck, or they're having a hard time with their own creativity, or maybe they think too much. Maybe they're out of balance and they're like, I'm the luckiest person in the world, and they can't pay their bills, right? So, which doesn't make them not the luckiest person in the world, but you see where I'm going with this. When it comes to intuition, my gosh, if I had a nickel for every time that, especially if somebody's moving or they're feeling very stuck, very trapped, I'll sit down in front of a client to read for them, and I'll go, "Do you have any special affinity for horses?" "I like them, but not particularly." "Okay. So, uh, are you feeling really trapped in your life right now?" "Oh my God, I'm ready to just like scream and run away from my whole life." And I see horses represent that. I've had situations where women will come in, women mostly, and I'll see rabbits, and I'll see all these rabbits scurry into these holes in the ground, and I'll go, "Are you feeling very frightened and you're looking for a way out of a frightening situation, or you're planning an escape from something, like a true escape from something that is scaring you?" And they're trying to leave an abusive marriage, or they're in a toxic job, or that kind of thing. So just from an intuition standpoint, the animal allies will show up like that when you'll allow them to. And for the folks that you're reading, it's crazy, because if you have a tarot deck and you tell somebody something and they're like, "Oh my God, how did you know that?" It's it's so much easier for them to believe that the information came from the cards instead of you psychically. And it's the same way with the animals. If you say, "Well, a rabbit appeared to me," they're like, "A bunny appeared for me?" You're like looking around going, "Yes, sir." And they'll go home and they'll read everything there is to read about a rabbit. But that's fine, that's great, that's wonderful, because then it helps them. So really, the long answer to your very short question is, it's one more tool, Mr. Spiritual Handyman, that readers can use, and people who aren't readers, who just want the teachings and the medicine and the healing of the animal world because it's what they resonate with. It's just another tool to help. I mean, it's my favorite tool, but it's not everybody's favorite tool, but it's my favorite tool. So there you have it.
I love how you're relating some of the stories and the representations of how the animals show up and what that has symbolized. It reminds me a lot of mediumship, in that you have a language with your spirit guides or with those that show up, that you kind of are speaking that language. And it sounds a lot like what your intuitive abilities with the animals, it's almost as if that transferred or continued to in that space. So when you're connecting with the animals and you're seeing them, it sounds like what you're saying is, intuitively, what does that mean to you? What does that represent to you as a person, and where you are right now in your life? Is that a good starting point when we're seeing flamingos everywhere?
Yeah, it's a great starting point. And the thing is yes, it's a great starting point. And because there's never any end, it just keeps getting deeper and deeper and more profound and more profound. And here's what I love about the animals. Spirit guides, as a general rule, I don't know if they give up or not. I don't know if they knock on your door 25 times, and if you're not listening, they're like, "Ugh, I'm going to go have a coffee." But spirit animals, they will never give up. They are relentless. And it's a question I've been asking myself. I try to figure out what it is. Even if you turn away from them, they will keep coming, and they will keep coming. It's just like they've got this unbelievable compassion, an unbelievable drive to save you in a way. I'm getting these reports from clients, from students. They'll be like, I kept seeing this, and I was like, "That's dumb. That makes no sense. I'm not even paying attention." And then I turned around and walked right into this. And then 3 days later, I saw this. And sure enough, so on and so forth, this happened. I don't know why they love us so much, but they just do.
That unconditional love of the animal kingdom.
It's got to be.
People so quickly recognize an animal and see what that is for them, and have this it sparks something in you. It brings something up that wasn't there before. It's inspirational, it's connective, it's always really special when a new animal shows up, right? And I have animals in ways they show up in my practice and in in my world in general that remind me of lots of different things. You know, when I'm working with clients and I need to be separated with my ego, I fly away on the eagle. If it's time to be motivated and be really active, then the hummingbird starts showing up. You know, we all have our little our little instances and signals. So it's really about figuring out what that looks like, you know, for each of us. So getting back to the deck a little bit, you said that it's an oracle and a tarot deck. So help us help people understand what you mean and why you chose to combine them this way.
Sure. So let's take, well, just because I love this card and what it took to make this buffalo white is legendary. But first of all, an oracle is anything that gives you mystical, supernatural information. So, you know, the tree in your front yard can be an oracle. But in the world of tarot card sales and oracle card sales, traditionally, a tarot card deck is, you know, based on a couple of methods. I chose the Rider-Waite method. So like the white buffalo in my deck is the Ace of Pentacles. Well, let's say that you drew this card in a reading for someone or a healing for someone. Because there are no pentacles on this card, you don't have to care that it's the Ace of Pentacles card. You could just care that it's the white buffalo card. Or you could care that up here, we've got the symbol for earth because, well, actually this is our symbol for spirit, because the white buffalo is a divine messenger, right? Because it's white. And then down here, what you've got, let me find a card that has a few more on them. So like on the wolf, what you can see is the little symbols at the bottom are just, they're little symbols that cue you. Is it also a shamanic symbol, this particular card? Does this animal come out in the Native American zodiac? Is it a Western zodiac card? Is it also Celtic? So we've done our best to try to hit to hit the Native American, the Chinese, and the Western astrology, right, for the zodiac signs. Also, was it a Celtic symbol? Does this animal appear a lot in Asian lore? And for anything where it appears, like if it happens to be something from India or Australia, you know, just all across the world, we've got another symbol for that. So that sometimes, you know, let's say, so like the wolf is the King of Pentacles. Well, if you only looked at this card as the King of Pentacles, and what the wolf means, and then tied them together, and all those descriptions are in the book, that's all you would go on. But if you let your intuition run free with the animals or fly free or swim free with them, you might see something else in this card that might stimulate you. So for instance, I did a reading for a gal. I didn't have this card with me. It was still in the printing process. But this gal called me and she said, I just want to make sure that I'm getting the right information when I meditate. I need to know that my spirit animal is what I think it is. My favorite question when clients ask me that, right? I'm like, okay. So I closed my eyes and I said, well, I'm going to tell you what I'm seeing. I said, I'm seeing a figure that I can't at the moment determine if it's a snow leopard or it's a wolf, and it's on a snow-capped mountain. But as much as I'm trying to get this animal to come out and show me, are you a snow leopard or are you a wolf? It will not come out of the shadows. And she said, oh my gosh. And I said, what? She said, I can tell you exactly what that is. She said, my spirit animal is a wolf. She said, I've spent the best years, best times of my life in snow-capped mountains, and we just bought a cabin there. And she said, let's go a little farther in the reading before we talk about coming out of the shadows. So we get farther in the reading, and there was, you know, all this information that came flooding in about our relationship. And I was like, why are you so afraid to step into the light of this relationship? Because it's so great for you. And she said, did you hear what you just said? And I was like, Yes, what? She said, step into the light. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's why the wolf won't come out of the shadows. So it was this crazy exploratory in-depth thing. And if I'd had this card in front of me just from an oracular space, I might have latched onto the snow in the mountains. I might have latched onto this wolf is a dark wolf instead of a white wolf. It could have gone 100,000 different ways. If I look at this camel, I might look at somebody and say, I'm looking at the words on here, I'm looking at everything, but I might start to taste dry in my mouth and say, have you kind of hit a dry spell in your life and you're not really sure how to, find more love, get a better career, have more money? You're just feeling in a dry spell, which has, it kind of does have something to do with the camel, but not the traditional, not the traditional Page of Pentacles or what the Oracle card means. So that's what I mean by how to use it as an Oracle. Is it can be a straight up tarot deck. It cannot be a straight up tarot deck. And even on all of them, just for fun, just because we could and there was space, the suits go along with the suits and regular playing cards. If you want to play rummy with these cards, you could, because all the time it's in the States and the hearts are on each card, and you could play canasta with them if you wanted to. So they're just designed to do as intricate and as in-depth as you or your client might need, or as very simple and blatant and in your face as you need, because that's what animals are like.
That all makes a lot of sense. Thank you for taking us through the symbolism and the information on the cards. That really is a lot of powerful stuff to work with. And I own a couple of tarot decks, and I'll be honest with you, the ones that I can use are the ones that have great symbolism in the artwork, and that's where I pick up on it, because I couldn't tell you what an Ace of Pentacles is. I can tell you from the artwork on the card why it's coming up, but to have the freedom to be able to do different things, that's really powerful. So Bernadette, help us understand where we can find you, learn more about you, and where can we get this amazing deck, the Ark?
Thank you. So on my website, whatismyspiritanimal.com, just go to the shop and it's right there. Within the next couple of weeks, it'll be on Amazon, which, of course, you can use your Prime account and get all the freebies and all that kind of thing. And you can also find me on Facebook at the Ark Tarot. I'm pretty easily found if you want to. And you can go to those places and find me and get the deck. And I hope that you'll consider getting, if you love animals, if you care anything about spirit, tone, and power animals, I really hope you will consider getting the Ark Tarot. It's pretty expansive. There's nothing else out there like it. And I think there are a lot of really good reasons why we were able to raise so much money on Kickstarter in our very first attempt at a Kickstarter campaign. And the sales have just been keeping coming in, which is not a bragging thing. What it's saying is that I think before this deck has ever landed in anyone's hands, the animal allies have been out doing their work. Because again, remember, the entire point of making this deck for me, well, I was told to, and you never want to argue with millions of animals standing in your living room. But, the more you connect with animals, then the more you might be inspired to do for the animal world. And if you're a teacher, if you hold classes, even if you don't, maybe you'll consider donating, spending your time helping them, doing little fundraisers, just anything that can help the animal kingdom. That's what the Ark is all about, saving as many as we can. So
I love that there are so many layers to your message, Bernadette. Thank you so much for taking the opportunity to be on the show and to share your passion and your love for the animals and to help get some of this information into the right hands.
Well, thank you very much. The honor is all mine. I love your show, and it's just really such a privilege to spread the word, especially working with a practitioner like you. And I would be very interested one day if we could talk about how animals play in the past lives. That would be a fascinating, kind of thing. I'd love to learn about all of
I think we just coined another show.
that. Well, I haven't
Fantastic.
explored that yet. I haven't explored animals in past lives, but you with your Akashic records and all the past life thing that comes into that, I feel like that could be some crazy over the top powerful stuff for people. You'll be the one to do it.
I love it. I love it. always looking for new ways to help. That's fantastic.
Excellent.
Bernadette, again, thank you on behalf of the Spiritual Handyman community for bringing all of this wonderful stuff into the world, providing an amazing tool that is expansive and always growing. Looking forward to getting something bigger than a bread box to keep my deck in. And it's been such a pleasure getting to know you and spending time with you. I'm looking forward to continuing this relationship. So once again, thanks for taking the time to be with us today.
Thank you. Take care, everybody.
And that's going to conclude this episode of the Spiritual Handyman, putting spiritual tools in the hands of the people that need them. Please take an opportunity to subscribe, like, get the alerts, be a part of the community. We love to hear your comments and feedback, so please get active and spread the word. We'll see you in the next episode.
The Spiritual Handyman, bringing spiritual tools to the hands of the people who need them. Sponsored by the Eagle Heart Foundation. The Eagle Heart Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that brings charitable contributions and educational enhancements to the people. So how can you be a part of the Spiritual Handyman and the Eagle Heart Foundation? The Triple Win Situation. This book was written by Granddaughter Crow, and half of the proceeds go to the Eagle Heart Foundation, which in turn sponsors the Spiritual Handyman. How to get it one? It's on Amazon and Kindle for only $9.99. So we are here to bring tools to you. Thank you so much, Spiritual Handyman. We believe in what you do.